And then finally, let me address one last myth about milk, and that is that it causes cancer. And this all came from one book, and that book is called The China Study, written by Campbell and Esselstyn. And what they did was they looked at the population of China, and they did an epidemiologic analysis. 500 pages of single univariate correlations, and snapshot in time, no time component in the analysis. And what they came up with was that the consumption of dairy correlated with increased incidence of cancer. And so they said, therefore, milk causes cancer. And they said that casein, the protein in milk, the primary protein in milk, was the bad guy. Number one, this is not how you determine causation. Univariate correlations are not the same as multivariate correlations, and multivariate correlations are not the same as causation. In order to determine this, you'd have to have a time component, which they do not have. Okay. And also, there's this thing called reverse causation, where it might be actually people with cancer might have, altered, food intake. And it might also be that there's intermediate causation. Something else is causing both of those things that has nothing to do. Like, for instance, ice cream consumption correlates with drownings. Is it that ice cream causes drownings? Or is it that survivors of drownings, bury their heads in a banana split? Well, neither, okay? Ice cream usually is consumed when it's hot outside. People swim when it's hot outside, and some people who swim drown. Okay, so yes, ice cream consumption is correlated with drownings, having nothing to do with any causation linking those two things directly. Rather, there's an antecedent that leads to both of those separately. That's called an epiphenomenon. So it very well may be that, what they were studying in China was an epiphenomenon, not a primary causative phenomenon. There's no data that suggests that drinking milk increases the risk for cancer.
Let's stick on the China study here for a little bit. That book seems to have a lot of legs and continues to get brought up time and time again. And the reason I want to stick with it, is there any data that they gained from that study that we can use? Or because of the variables that you talked about there and the way it was done, there's only associations made and there's nothing we can really take from it?
There's only association. And, there's a lot of mumbo jumbo in nutrition based on association. And nutrition has been derided by multiple scientists as being basically the dark arts of medicine. And to be honest with you, if you use it wrong, they're right. They're correct. John Ioannidis of Stanford, who is, perhaps the biggest statistical guru, alive today in terms of how to interpret data, basically says we should stop all nutrition research because it's all bullshit.